Welcome to TOMGIRL, where we talk all things sports, entertainment, fashion, and adventure. On this episode, we're talking to a woman who is making a difference in the lives of girls across the world. She's the executive director of Inspiring Girls, a nonprofit organization with a mission to raise girls' aspirations and break down gender stereotypes by introducing girls to incredible role models and engaging them in meaningful conversations about their future. Welcome to the show, Erin Brown.
Thank you, JJ. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. It's just really a pleasure to be here. It's, we have a history, so it's just good to have this opportunity to engage with you on the podcast and just get to catch up again. So yeah,
Yeah,
pleasure to
I
be here.
always love when I can have a Husker on here. So yeah,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I had to
Yeah.
make sure to call you Erin Brown too, because you're always Erin
Oh,
Stephen for me.
yeah. Yeah, it is. It's so funny that you just said that because I was like, maybe I'll change my name for the episode, which makes no sense. But I just like being around you or anybody from Nebraska, my like Husker integrity kind of comes out, and I just get so excited. I mean, I think we're a very prideful state, rightfully so. So we have
Oh,
a lot going on for us.
for sure.
I want to make one segue, and I know we'll get into this. But you probably wear a Nebraska swag, and
Yes.
I do too. And what I've really loved about the last year is I have this beautiful red sweater that it's like kind of classic, so I can wear it professionally, like out or whatever. And when I used to wear it, everybody would be like, "Oh, you're from Nebraska," and like, "Go Huskers!" And they would always primarily think football.
Yeah.
This last year, everyone's like, "Way to go, volleyball team!" And I'm just like, I get chills. I'm like, this is so cool. Like in my whole life, I mean, I love the Huskers, grew up Tommy Frazier years, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it is so dang inspiring to walk around and people talk about the Nebraska volleyball team. I just love it.
I
It gets me so
know.
excited. It's just
I'm right there with you. Like, it's just, I'm so happy for those girls. And it's so fun for, like, oh, yeah, no, Nebraska's a volleyball school, and then watching the basketball team, the women's
yeah,
basketball team, and then well,
yeah,
both teams, men and
yeah,
women this year. And they're, so yeah, it's been great. But yeah,
yeah,
I think it's a really fun time for
yeah.
women's sports, a lot of
Absolutely.
things.
And you is it's your alma mater. So like I think of you a lot too because you're one of the players I know and remember and like you kind of served as a role model for me. I mean, you're like my brother and I met you and I was like, she played for Nebraska. So yeah, it's awesome. Anyways, it segues
Yeah.
into what I do for work. Like you were a role model for me and that's what Inspiring Girls does. So it's just really, that's another reason it's awesome to connect with you.
Ah, awesome. Well, I was so excited when you introduced me to this organization because I didn't
Yeah.
even know it existed. And when
Yeah.
you talked to have me come speak, I was like, this is just amazing. It's such an incredible thing you are
Yeah.
putting on for girls. So that's why I was like, I right away, I was like, if you
Yeah.
don't mind, I want to have you on just so you
Yeah.
can tell people today, like all about it and just what the
Yeah.
organization does. And so yeah,
Yeah.
I'll let you kind of take it from there and just kind of tell people,
Sure.
what is inspiring girls?
Yeah. So what's really awesome about our organization is we are headquarters in Europe in London. We are under the umbrella of Inspiring Girls International. So we have a presence in 36 different countries. The whole organization is pretty young, but doing stellar work. I'll get into some of our programming. The United States branch started about 3, 4 years ago. Actually, a colleague of mine was tasked with developing it, and she kind of brought me in because I had a lot of nonprofit experience. And we're largely a campaign to promote role models. And I know sometimes people are like, what does that mean? And it's really that first step, especially for girls. Just it's really to promote women and the women that are doing amazing work, and then raising the voices of those who might not have otherwise had these opportunities to speak before girls or think of themselves as a role model. So then we connect them to young girls, just really to empower that next generation to not limit their options in life. So much at a young age, we only become what we know, and so giving more representation and women more voices and stories really shows these girls all the paths that are possible to them. And I mean, I love it for so many reasons. Like I've worked at the intersection of women and girls issues for a while. But I also really love that like middle school and high school age and getting excited about your life beyond high school and your parents and like what your first choices. And I don't think we give it enough credit of like how exciting that time is. And we all know it's exciting, but how unprepared we are, boys and girls. So I think like giving girls more stories and more connections and networking. It's not necessarily to influence them to go one way or other, but to develop what is most important to them and get them ready for their future. So, I mean, like when I was in high school, I mean, I wanted to study abroad. I wanted to go to boarding school. I wanted to see a different country. I didn't know how. And I remember just the first woman in my life that said, like, she had gotten a scholarship to study abroad, and I remember being like, "What's a scholarship?" Like, just that small, and other girls, like, have probably known since they were in 2nd grade what a scholarship was, but that wasn't my life path, and so the only way you have these opportunities is by seeing and meeting more people, and then you get to decide for yourself, but girls, unfortunately, in middle school, high school, start making decisions that affect them for the rest of their life because of the gender stereotypes that exist. So we're really here to combat all of that and, just tackle it. And we're very supportive of boys being a part of our groups as well because they can learn from women role models as well. So it's just great. It's great from the bottom up, top down. That sounds a little weird, but I really love the organization and like you reading like what I was like, I get to do this. I go, it feels like a kind of a dream come true because it gets to bring a lot of the things that I've always loved and my skill set all together. And like we were talking before this, I get to just talk to wonderful women all the time, and I feel really inspired. So I would tell anyone, just come to our events, even if you're an adult, if you're looking for a little bit of motivation in your life, because it's just really inspiring. It's just really wonderful. So yeah, that's what we do. And that's a little bit of my story.
Yeah, I would second for people to go to one of your events
Yeah.
because I came back
Yeah.
so fired up
Yeah.
from that event that day that I hadn't felt that energy or that charge for a
Right.
long time, and just being in
Yeah.
that room with all those high school girls, and it was just so
Yeah.
like you said, it was just so inspiring. Like I was inspired by
Yeah.
them,
I just get chills.
seeing these
Yeah.
little go-getters, and
Yeah.
it just was like I was like, man, I love what you're doing because yeah, I didn't have anything like that in high
Yeah.
school either, or anyone kind of, looking at mentors or trying. I mean, I
Right.
didn't even have mentors in college. I want mentors now,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
not that everybody has. So talk about some of the events that you put on.
Yeah, well, let's backtrack, like, the event that you participated in just was that last November? So,
Something like that.
yeah,
Yep.
so, we had a partnership, with, Cacharel, which is a L'Oreal beauty brand, and, we were gonna host a women's empowerment event, so we had to find a school and some role models and, there's a lot of orchestration, and it was actually kinda hard to tackle because the school is Title I and they don't always allow programming and all this kind of stuff. So I was like, it was kind of hard to put together in a way. And like you said, but after it, I was just like, I was so empowered. I would do it 100 times over. But anyways, that event, I reached out to you because I knew you did the podcast and I was looking for a few more women. And then we were like, JJ, you should be a role model. So, we had three wonderful three role models and a facilitator just talk to a group of girls about women's empowerment and their hosts. And it was just a really lively discussion with 125 girls in the LA area. And all of your guys' stories were so unique. And then we left time for some food and some networking, and girls were asking for your guys' autographs. And just like you said, I mean, I know you walked away feeling inspired and learning a lot from even just the students' questions.
Mhm.
But and you didn't even get the girls during that day were so jazzed. I mean, they were so excited to meet someone like you who's played collegiate sports and gone off to work in CBS and entertainment. And we had a couple other really amazing role models. And so they're learning about all these different fields and different things. But even after they were writing me and saying, I want more. And I really loved what this person said and everything like that. And I remember exactly kind of what you said, like your values of like being kind and just ask. And, I get asked a lot because I work with role models, like what advice I would give. And I go, I just regurgitate whatever I've learned that week because it inspires me. And like the things that you said, it's, 4 or 5 months later, and it's like still in my head. And I'm like, I have to remember to just ask. Like, and some of those things are my values and like like being, especially from Nebraska, like we pride ourselves on being real kind. But,
Mhm.
I go, am I asking? Am I asking for what I want? And whether it be just my with my kids in my home or at my job. And sometimes I go, people don't know what you want until you just ask. And so I kind of got long-winded there, but I mean, our events are really just to have these amazing conversations. And they don't just have to be a panel or a talk. We do also do workshops and speed networking events. And one of the other things I'm so excited that we're doing, I'm an economics major. So we have these wonderful finance seminars. So we're really educating girls to be empowered by their personal finances. It's twofold in that way. Like we want them to learn about their finances, budgeting, investing, credit scores, all that kind of stuff for their own self-worth, but also encourage them to go off into the finance industry if that's something they choose, because that is definitely a male-dominated industry. So, and these girls leave and like nearly 100%, it's like 99%. I would go again. I would recommend these to my friends. And these are a lot of times girls never even thought about this stuff before they walked into the room. So if we can make finance fun and we can make, your life more inspiring, that's what we aim to do. And I don't want to make it all sound like rosy colored, is it glasses,
Yeah,
but it really, I'll tell you, it's amazing. I just love it. Like we're a campaign to promote empowering stories and help people understand their values and their strengths and where they need to go in life and not limit any of their possibilities. So
you
there
also
you
offer, I love it. I love it.
go.
You also offer
Yeah.
online. Tell us about the video hub.
Oh, right. Gosh, I skipped over like so that was kind of the baseline of where it started. We just thought, how can we make it the most accessible? And what's luckily the internet exists and all this kind of stuff. I know I sound cheesy there, but I think people forget like just how wonderful and accessible things are these days. And we have these opportunities, but we have an Inspiring Girls Video Hub. I think right now it has over 700 videos and we we're in 36 countries. I think we have it in 7 different languages. There's videos of all these women from all different backgrounds speaking about 3 to 5 minutes about their career. So it's a great tool for a woman of any professional background to speak, answer a few questions, speak about her career, how she got there, her best advice. Girls can watch and listen to it anytime on their own. Teachers and parents also use it. So, like, let's take a break, students. Let's watch a video from the Inspiring Girls Video Hub of this woman, working at Harley Davidson and automotive industry. What does she do? How does it work? And then let's journal about it and think like, what were her values, her strengths? How did she get there? What did it mean to you? And it's just a great conversation starter, a great pivot. And of course, it's very inspiring and you're seeing that women representation. So we use it in our programming and then it's a free open resource for anybody who wants to use it. So it's wonderful. You should make a video. Yeah, so
Okay,
next year.
I
Yeah,
just love that because it's like, kind of in our day, you went to college and you kind of got asked early on what you
yeah,
want to do, right? And so
yeah,
I thought I knew like just to want to be a copywriter at ad agency
yeah,
and things, but you didn't like there was no I didn't career shadow or do
yeah,
finally later I did internships, but I just look at that now that I'm like, what a great resource for these
yeah,
girls to like just
yeah,
sit there and watch and be like and learn about all these
yeah,
different jobs and be able to have somebody that they're like I'm sure that they could reach out to or write a letter to or have like
yes,
start a conversation with
mhm,
as
yeah,
well. So I just think that's
yeah,
so
yeah,
important and it's just nice for them to maybe watch a bunch of those before they
yeah,
hit college and get all of a
yeah.
sudden asked to like decide what they want to do for the rest of their life.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
glad it resonates with you. I mean, I think that, with your Tom Girl, I remember when you started Tom Girl and I was like, I love the name, by the way. And I was like, oh, she, gets it. And she wanted this and she wants to expose it. So there's so many women out there who this touches that want to give back and they just didn't know how to go about it. And it's really a simple formula in a way or easy replicated and we just have to keep doing it. So it's like I'm just so grateful for the work that you do and the stories that you promote. And I think running with the name Tom Girl is just like so cool. And to be honest, I mean, when I was younger, I really wanted to support women but sometimes I was like I didn't know how and I was scared to say that I want more women's rights and things like that. I didn't want to be that girl. And so I mean, but I am just like so grateful for every step and every role model that's come to my life to help me, use my voice and get to the point that I'm at. And now I can do this for other women and I work with women who started on all different types of platforms and have all different feelings about it. And that's just something that I just love. So I love just talking to women even about their discovery of like what it means to be a woman and their femininity and what
Mhm.
it means in life. I'm going down a different rabbit hole here, but I think that just, again, I just think of like you hosting a podcast with the name Tom Girl and putting it out there, I think is a big just testament, and then walking the walk and doing it. You know what I mean? And talking the talk. I don't know what the right say.
Oh,
I feel like
yeah.
Nebraska, I always miss
I
saying
did
it
that
myself.
too. I did that too.
Yeah.
I knew what you meant. You're right.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. But yeah, sorry. I did have kind of a question for you. Like I was, like when we are talking about your when you wanted to be a copywriter, like what did that mean to you when you were in high school?
I think I watched a movie and I feel like it was a Tom Hanks movie when I was young and I think he worked at an
Yeah.
ad agency and I just thought
Oh,
I fell in love with commercials. Like I thought commercials were kind of
oh,
cool. So I
yeah,
wanted to be the one like writing the commercials, like coming
yeah,
up with the copy and yeah, so I just
yeah,
thought that's just I don't know, someday I'm like that's what I always like to write. I started writing
yeah.
when I was really, really young and I loved that. And I loved writing a lot of poetry. And so I think I liked
Oh,
commercials because they were like
yeah,
shorter
yeah,
as well too. I see Kitty.
yeah. Sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, but then that's when I didn't know, that's when somebody next to me at basketball practice looked up and pointed to the big screen up above and she's like, I think you should go to work for them. And I'm like, oh,
Oh,
like that's
yeah,
interesting. I'm like,
yeah,
huh.
yeah,
And then that's how that changed. And then that's how I kind of got still kind
yeah,
of doing advertising, but more with
yep,
sports production then. And then
yeah.
definitely changed my world. And I loved it just from one girl, fellow teammate,
Right.
seeing
Yeah,
something in me that I kind of wasn't seeing at the time, or what was I was just I mean, I
yeah,
will say back then I was so like laser focused on things.
yeah.
So I
Hmm.
think that's one thing I think it's fun to, when you talk with girls too about, you can keep your angle a little wider so that if
Yeah,
other things crop in that you might want to veer off, this
absolutely.
that way instead of just
Yeah,
having to think things have to go a certain way or you have to be at a certain point by a certain age or whatever.
yeah, absolutely. And isn't it interesting? Because it was kind of like it was a TV experience and a peer, but think of like if you had just even it just well, I mean, like you're doing amazing, but it's just like think if you had idea generators around you a lot that could just keep exploring. You know what I mean? Like I still think you would end up like we all go out on our journey at the pace that we need to or whatever. But I think it's just like you don't, it's a lot about learning what you don't know,
Yeah.
and there's no better way to do that than really getting outside of your like that, like you're describing your focus. And I feel like sometimes I grew up in a really small town. I can't remember if you did like, originally 800 people. And I remember like an exchange student would show up and I'd be like, who are you? And so
Yeah.
my curiosity is really high in the grand scheme of like life, and everyone else's might be at different ranges, but I think we're helping to ignite that curiosity. And I think you have a lot of it too. And then I just love you're like, just ask, just try. And I just like you walked on, did all these things. And I go, like, not everyone has that skill set, so some of us can help others or whatever, but it's just, yeah, just keep going and just keep going after what you want. So I just think it's really inspiring. Like even your journey is just really fun. And I kind of like back to the event, like I know you, but listening to it again, I was like, I'm re-inspired. Like I just,
Oh,
I was like, wow, she's really like, I knew all this, but I was like, we're friends and I kind of forget all the cool things that you've done and how it really meant and who inspired you. So it's just really great. And sorry, I will stop after this, but just having
keep
those
go all you want.
conversations, over and over and over is so fun. Like, and I think that, you know, girls, you know, we need to give them more material to talk about,
Yes.
and like we don't have the same networking spaces, we don't have the same things to look forward to, so it's like we're giving girls things to reshape their narrative and have more of a growth mindset, and I think that that's just so important, and that could be like kind of a masculine side. I mean, they go golfing, they play sport, they talk other things, and luckily we were talking before, like I'm so excited about all this stuff that's going on in girls basketball. It's
Yeah.
given us all some more material to talk about and be
Yes.
inspired by. So again, it's just bringing out new narratives and being part of everyone's journey. And sports, like I mean, like I played sports, I haven't for a while, but like they totally bring people together, and everything that's going on with like Caitlin Clark in India. I'm
Yeah.
just like, I talked to
So
women from Indiana and I said, are you guys ready? And she goes, yeah, I think we're going to become more popular, just like from a state perspective. So anyways, my cat is like
I
saying,
know, she's so cute. Yeah.
yeah,
So even for the moms out there listening, or the older women, they're
yeah,
going to your events or being involved with an organization, I think they'll find inspiration as well. Because like hearing the
yeah,
other panel that was talking at the event I was at, like hearing the woman that wrote the yoga book and teaches the
yeah,
yoga to the girls, and you just
yeah,
learn, like you said, it was nice to learn
yeah,
from them too and learn about, okay, what struggles have they faced or how have
yep,
they shifted to get their book
mhm,
published or go
yes,
after their dreams, and just hearing each everybody's different stories was very,
yeah.
very inspiring.
Yeah, absolutely. Like what you're reminding me of is like kind of the intergenerational aspects of it. Like, we are inspiring girls and our focus is middle and high school, but it, I mean, we are all bonded through our feminine lineage and like everyone just kind of learns. And one of the other aspects I love are like we've helped out at a couple career fairs. And so I've brought in, several like kind of like it's a panel, but even more role models and everyone goes, I didn't realize I was so excited to talk to girls, but I'm sitting having lunch with all these other cool women I've never had the opportunity to meet before. And that's really just amazing too. So it's kind of you hear of people's career, but all these other secondary interests and jobs are so different these days.
Mhm.
And life is so different. Like, we grew up kind of we're the last generation of like staying in your job for 40 years and remember, I don't know if early in your career, everybody kept talking about, well, you have to stay there too long. You can't change your job too many times. And now it's like, it does,
Yeah.
the more you travel, the weirder you are. And I don't know if that, I don't want to put that out there as like what people are saying. That's my, when I say weird, I mean it in a really good complimentary
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's just changing. And I think that like we have a lot to learn. Like we're aging now and things are changing so fast. So we can still be just part of the incredible journey. I mean, it's just fun. I mean,
Yeah.
you're probably talking to somebody who's really optimistic. Like I know, like I've always been an idealistic and pretty optimistic. I know the realities of the world, and those conversations do come out too. Like we do take time to like honor each person's journey and the challenges and the hardships and but if you have a choice, I mean, it's really, I think like staying as positive as you can and being grateful and moving forward is just so important, but yeah, yeah,
And that has always been you. I always
yeah,
I just loved, you just always have this bright smile and your
yeah,
energy. So I think you're just
yeah,
in the perfect spot to be working with these
yes,
girls. So
yep.
describe to girls, what more things do you do? Like what's a day to
Oh,
day in your role look like as a
yeah,
director?
my role, I mean,
Yeah.
oh gosh. So we're still small. I do so many different things. Like my hands are in the bookkeeping and finance. My hands are in legal compliance between states. So that's like kind of the operations admin side. I'm meeting with the board, the junior board or young ambassador, and there's some programming in there, but I'm keeping everybody organized administratively. And then I'm talking a good percent of my time to new schools and new partners that want to work with us and learning what issues they're facing and what kind of programming they want. So, do they want role model talks? Do they want to use the video hub? Do they want speed networking events? Do they need help with their career fairs? And then I'm really going out and finding the role models and matching them up with girls and date making kind of things and setting dates and, and really just keeping it lively and positive. And it is hard because, sometimes I think people don't realize like what the day to day look like, the challenges of what it looks like. Like, oh, it's easy to connect girls with role models, but girls are in school all day. Role models are working all day. How like that time doesn't work. So then at night, but girls got homework, women got children, they're tired, like so a lot of it is just, dedicating carving out the year and saying this is when International Day of the Girl is, this is when Women's History Month is, these are when we want events, this is when you can host them, who can make it, can you take off time off work, and like it's like running a big house. Like after
Yeah.
becoming a mom, I'm like, it's just magnitude. So that's what my day looks like. And right now we're in the process of kind of hiring. So I'm getting so excited because we're expanding, which means we can grow more. So I have to strategize and think about what additional programming and what additional states we want to go after. So my job is really, for me, it's fun because it's like a big puzzle and negotiating. And and strategizing, which I just love. And I love the matchmaking of resources. So that's what I do. And then you do just have to stay positive and build partnerships. So and a couple of the things that I really love, we all agree we love working with the girls, and so sometimes my job, because I'm more in a management position, I'm not always the one in the room with the girls, and I don't always get to do that. So that's, like, that's what you want to do. But one of the ways that I get to do it regular is we have a young ambassadors program. So we have girls apply to join us as kind of work alongside us. So they get to know more of the inside of our operations, what's going on. And we really speak with them and help plan our activity alongside them, listening to their recommendations. We do that with all of our partners, but what better way to really bring a group in? So we look at them kind of like we look at our program. We have a young ambassadors that we hope to graduate to our junior board, that we hope to graduate to our board of directors. Just like we hope these girls, go off into college, high school, into these careers where these role models have come from. So we're kind of just trying to create these like really sustainable partnerships and development. And I love, just building those pathways. And that's really, I mean, like, on the external side, when you're talking to partners, they're really interested in career pathways and economic opportunities. Like, those are the big words. And that's, inside we're like, we promote role models. Externally are like, we're like, we create career pathways and education to the future of workforce. So we have to learn a lot about all those things. So my day is a lot of like that internal, external operations, programming, admin. Oh, and let's not forget, I have to fundraise.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
go, and that's where nonprofits, I mean, like, we're still young, so we're going to spend a lot of our time upcoming here on fundraising, but it's just like, we need donations, we need supporters. We have, we have the heartfelt supporters, but now I need to go out and learn to ask for a little bit of money. So that's something that Erin, as an executive director, doesn't have a ton of skill, like, or not, I wouldn't say skill, like, I've done it, but I haven't focused on my career. So that's going to be a learning bit for me and the
Mhm.
team this year.
Mhm.
And I'm really excited. So yeah.
Have there been some moments or a moment along the way that really stands out to you, like one of the most inspirational moments or one that really touched you?
Like with the organizing,
Uh,
I know this is gonna, like, there's not, well, there's a lot of little moments. And I've kind of touched on, I'm like, I think this one career fair that we helped at, and seeing the role models engage and just get like super, they were all professional women, whatever, but watching them get giddy,
mm,
like, was just like so cool. Like, and I just sat there and was, kind of on the outside watching them and just listening to them giggle like girls again. It was like, I think like they were all getting back something that they missed out from their childhood, but are trying, like, they wanted this as a child and they're giving. So just being that spectator, your event, one of our young ambassadors helped orchestrate it, and just watching her, oh, I'm gonna get like teary.
oh,
I
she's amazing.
Yeah, like watching her through the process, and just like, she wrote a thank you note to, I mean, like, that's not the thing, but I just go like, I knew she was thankful, I knew she was happy, I knew she was great, but she's still like ecstatic from that event. And I just go, I'm just so happy. And then lastly, like, this isn't a moment, but I love my team. I love my board. I love how passionate everyone. And anytime I get the opportunity to talk to someone who just likes what we do and it's really behind it, like, those are the moments. But I get to work with those type of people every day. And it is, we still have challenges and growth and heart, but I'm just like going like, I'm so thrilled. It is really fulfilling for someone like me or other people, to be able to work somewhere that you're really behind the mission, and seeing all these things. So if my team ever listens to this, I just want to say I love them. I think they're great. I feel so honored that they've like chosen me, supported me, and vice versa. Like, it's really, it feels very horizontal. And I think that in my short career and short time on this planet, of like, and having previous jobs in different industries, these are the things I always wanted. And I'm so grateful. Like, I'm grateful that the WNBA exists, and I'm grateful to have this job living in like kind of like a feminine led horizontal
Yeah.
organization. These are things I wanted as a kid, and I wanted to see the ocean, like,
Check.
but yes, exactly. It's just like, I feel so and like, I feel like I didn't know if these things would ever exist in my lifetime. So that the fact that they do, and I think too, like, again, like Caitlin Clark is reliving, like re-bringing back some of the dreams I had as a kid. Like I kind of did want to play in the WNBA. I'm 6'1",
Yeah,
but I'm not
you
very
are.
competitive. So, but I wasn't very good at that. But the fact I go, even if I didn't make it, but like the fact that it exists, I didn't think it would exist when I was a kid. It exists and is becoming even more popular. And I go, I just cannot. I can believe it because I feel like we dream it, but I'm just so glad
Mhm.
it exists in my lifetime. Like I get to experience life on Earth and watch these things. And I just keep hoping they happen for all people in whatever way,
Yeah.
is meaningful to them, and I think like we're really fighting a women cause, and I think that it's a human right. And I think that that's why this is really powerful. But the dreams can be in all levels and all shapes, so, but those were mine. And it's just great to be a part of it and meet. I'm not doing this alone. I'm glad to be part of the process, but I have so many people helping and so many people I look up to along the way. So I will literally like say 1,000 positive things if you want me to keep going, because I really do mean it. And I just feel like
I mean,
incredibly, yeah,
I would let you sit here talk about all
yeah,
that all day because it's fueling me up. I know you do have a meeting that I gotta let you get
yeah,
to. You've
yeah,
got
right,
work to do, work to do.
yeah, right,
But yeah, I love the fact that you love you people you work with so much. You could just
yeah,
feel in the brief encounters I've had with the organization, you just
yeah,
the energy, obviously you have, but everything, and even on your website, there's just everything's
yeah,
so positive and just I just
yeah,
love what you're
yeah.
doing and what you're
Thank you.
what you're
Yeah.
providing for girls everywhere.
You too. So yeah, you're part of it. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you though.
Well, let's switch before I let you go, though. I
Yeah.
got to talk a little bit. We talked about some adventure
Yeah.
here, and I know that you're an adventure person. So I
Yeah.
want to hear about some of your adventuring or places you have loved to have gone or places
Oh yeah.
bucket list, whatever you want to share about your
Yeah.
adventure side.
Yeah. Yeah, so I feel like what's so interesting about me and like the world of adventure, like a lot of times, like adventure isn't one of my top values, but I definitely think people think I'm definitely adventurous. Like I've lived and worked in several different countries, and I've spent a lot of time without like running water and traveling by boat and, just being very independent and I just love that freedom, and like that is easy. Like sometimes I think like that stuff was easy to me, and which other people are like, oh, you're so adventurous. What's been more of a journey for me is getting married, having kids, all that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to put that out there because it's like I was like, my 20s and early 30s were very much about moving to the next country and getting the next degree and meeting as many people. But some of my, I think and this is what I would want to instill in people is, so through adventure is how I harnessed more of my curiosity and or matched my curiosity. But if people have the opportunity, I would strongly encourage people to like consider volunteering for a year or studying abroad in high school and college. It's not as, for some it's very easy, but for those who are scared or timid, it's not as hard as it looks. There's a lot of scholarships and a lot of opportunities out there. So I studied abroad in high school through Australia. I studied in college in Japan. And I would say like, when you ask me like which adventure, like my first one is definitely the most powerful in a way because I never thought I would actually do it. And it's what changed once I did it, everything became a lot easier. So that first step. So I spent a good 3 months in Australia as a high school exchange student, living with a host family. I mean, it's America, it was a little easy, but for someone like me, I didn't have the money, I didn't have the resources, but somehow I found a scholarship. I got myself there, and it was just amazing. And it just opened up my whole world. And then just going to, I was from a small town, had never taken public transportation. I show up, my host family is like, why don't you go downtown and take the train? And I'm like, what? And so that was really adventurous to me, but that was the first one and it didn't stop there. But since like I spent a grad school summer doing research in a developing country, driving around like little islands on a boat. I had a backpack of like $20,000 and I was doing these games and activities, and I had no running water. I never used shampoo, and I loved it. I would do it again. Like I feel like like my favorite things are just planning adventures, being away from my phone, meeting as people, eating the local food. I love homestays. So I mean, I just encourage people to get out there and meet people who are not like you and try something it can just be a short time and you might not like it, but just try it, just adventure yourself out. Yeah. And I love now it's like slowed down a little bit because I'm married, but I'm really always thinking about adventures with my family and kids that I can take them, or little things I can do each day. And, I know my kids are going to have the travel bug. We go to a park, they do not play the equipment. They are doing the perimeter, going through the trees. And I go, reminds me a lot of me, and so, I mean, I'm not like motocross or like jumping out of planes adventure, but I am walking paths that I just find on my own. And I think too, the friends that you meet along the way, and it's kind of like the role models, the stories that you have, because you don't have a lot of resources. You have to make your own fun, and you have to connect with people or nature. And it's just largely incredible. So, but as far as like favorite places, I don't know. I feel like I don't know if that was the next question, but a lot of times people always go like, "Where's your favorite place?" And I
Yeah.
go, I have no idea. Like, I really love the Solomon Islands. I think the people are so great and it's so beautiful. And my soul healed a lot there in some weird way during that time period. So that's really special. And it's a place that, like, if it wasn't so far, I would go back again and again.
Mhm.
But yeah, so that's a little bit about my adventure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I love it. Good for you. I mean, having the courage, like you said, coming from a small town and leaving and
Yeah.
just going to staying in other countries. Yeah, that's very
Yeah.
inspiring right there for
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like I could sit here and talk to you all day because you
I
just
know.
I love your
Yeah.
energy. You're so bright and positive. So I
Thank
just want to
you.
thank you so much for taking the time to share about
Yeah.
Inspiring Girls. Where can everybody find Inspiring Girls or follow you or get involved?
Sure. So our website is www.inspiringgirlsusa.org. That's the best place. And from there, you can see how you can get involved as a role model, or a school or the girls. All of our social links are there. So I encourage people. And then I'm Erin Brown on LinkedIn. But I think Inspiring Girls is really the way to go. But yeah, we really welcome anybody with interest. We are looking to grow across the United States. So, primarily we're like in New York and California and now Seattle, doing some programming in Atlanta, but we'd love to get to more places. And of course, I've been found in Nebraska
Yeah.
because I have done a couple of things there out of personal choice. And it's just great. I think a lot of young girls there could really be inspired and have a good time through it. So
For sure.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for taking the time. This has just been awesome. So everybody
Thank
go
you.
check out Inspiring Girls and get involved, and you'll be so happy that you did.
Yeah, thank
So,
you, JJ. You're awesome. I really
yeah.
appreciate you doing this and hosting this space for all the people that you do. Yeah, thank you.
My pleasure. I love getting to talk with people like you, so it's awesome. So,
Yeah, great.
all right, that's it for today, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. See you here again next time. And in the meantime, get out there.